All right, we are live.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us again for 4 at 4.
Yeah, the 4 at 4. So if you're new to the conversation, the 4 at 4 is Facebook Live 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday at 4 o'clock Pacific. Catchy, isn't it? Do you like it?
If you have Central Time or Eastern Time, the 4 at 4 just doesn't work for you.
6.
But it works for us.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters.
So anyway, again, if you're new to the conversation, we're Adam and Michelle Carey from adamandmichellecarey.com. And right now we're doing our Facebook Live broadcast focused on John Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. So we're diving heavily into that. Hey, Scotty,
awesome
how's
book.
it going?
If you haven't yet read this or picked it up, we read it back in 2009, and so much good stuff that we forgot. But, you know, our leadership has changed, life has changed, and so it's just cool how it's applying to just our current, life, current business.
Yeah, so
What's
if
going on,
you
Scotty?
are new, what's up, Scotty and Shannon? If you're new to the conversation, you could catch our previous Facebook Lives. Right now, we're on Chapter 3, so we're not that far in. And you could catch those replays on our Facebook page, Adam and Michelle Carey, and then if you join our private Facebook group, you could also catch those replays, and also a lot of interaction in there and more accountability. So anyway, without further ado, do you just want to go ahead and dive in?
I do. I just want to again, just a couple quick housekeeping things. So we're doing today. We're doing the law of the mirror. You must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. Tomorrow we're going to do law number 4. And then Wednesday and Thursday, and then we'll reconvene back on Monday. And just so everybody has the full picture of what we're doing, we're Maxwell says to give a week per law, but we're doing a law pretty much every day, or 4 laws a week, because it's leading up to a huge event on September the 30th, which you can get the details at Multiply with Maxwell. But it's going to be a global stream, live stream that's going to be generic for the network marketing profession based on the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Michelle and I will be in Atlanta for the event as well. We're super excited to be contributors for that, but definitely don't want to miss the event. So, host a team event, get a streaming ticket, follow along with the book. If you want accountability, the Facebook group has been awesome. We'll include the link for the private Facebook group because we have to manually add you. And it's still not too late. Like, you could catch up. You just got to catch up 3 chapters, and you'll be caught up. And then the last thing I'll mention, we haven't heard too much about this, and we need to be a little bit more strict, is the media fast. Can you just talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so we actually had a few people ask about the media fast through the weekend, and basically what I just said is just set it up so you could have success with it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be like every day. You can't like look at something, but if you want to give yourself time to just unwind on the weekends, I think that's totally fine. It's just like setting yourself up for a habit that you can accomplish, and see it through. Sometimes I think we get overly zealous about a goal or a fast, and then we end up burning out, and we don't complete it, and then we're like, those things don't work. So I think, if you
24 days. Come on, they could do without TV or a movie for 24 days.
Yeah, but I mean,
so just read instead. That was the whole media fast that we agreed on a week ago. It's changed a little bit, but
well, I just think that if during the week they're more strict, and then they award themselves during the weekend, maybe they could continue on past 24 days.
Yeah,
it's up to you.
Take 10 minutes off.
It is up to you. So.
All right, let's dive in. We got a few people that have their ticket. Gina's got their ticket.
Awesome.
Scotty's got their ticket.
Welcome, Jeanette and Vanette.
Yeah, thank you guys
and Mary, thank you for coming.
I don't know what happened, but Shannon said, uh-oh.
Okay.
All right, so let's dive in. We're going to talk a little bit about the law of the mirror. Hopefully you're reading along. We have a few things that we wanted to share. But Michelle, kick us off. Talk a little bit about how this applies to us, your life, our business.
Well, I think the main gist of the Law of the Mirror chapter is you must see value in yourself to want to invest in yourself. You know, if you look at anything that you spend money on, you have a perceived value in it. And I think this maybe could be a very emotional chapter for some people because maybe you're realizing that you've undervalued yourself. And so I think you had something really deep regarding this. And I think we should start deep.
Yeah, so if you know us, we love to use humor, we like to joke around, we like to be sarcastic, but sometimes you just got to get real and be serious. And I think I had so many notes that I was like, oh, just ideas coming to mind. But I want to first off by saying this. I think a lot of us look through false lenses that we bought into, words and things that were spoken over us, and then we bought into that as our identity, which is not our true identity. And now we look through false lenses, which it could be a little bit more difficult to want to intentionally grow and invest in ourselves, because let's face it, we don't invest into things that we don't see as valuable. So if you don't see yourself as valuable, why would you invest into things that are valuable? And I want you to talk about that comparison early, that you talked to me a little bit about with entertainment and growth. But along the lines of this, let's break it down real simple. The value of something is determined by the price someone's willing to pay for it, right? So I've got this iPhone right here, okay? So people have paid $200, $300, $400, I think up to $600 for an iPhone. Okay, so that determines the value, because it's whatever someone's willing to pay for it is the value. Would anybody pay $1,000 for an iPhone 6? No. Nobody would pay $1,000 for an iPhone 6 because it's not worth that. So the things that, and I talked about this a week or two ago, but I think it's worth repeating, is the things that tend to be more valuable are the things that are more rare, right? The things that are mass produced. Take cars, for example, or this phone, for example. The limited edition ones are always more expensive than the ones that are mass produced. Why? It's the supply and demand. If it's more rare, you can ask more money for it. And so along the topic of that, isn't it interesting that all of us, the 7 billion people or so that are alive today, the people that came before us and the people that are going to come after us, that there's never been somebody exactly like you. No. Like your fingerprint, even your identity, everything, your destiny, your calling, everything is uniquely stamped to you, which makes you priceless. And so let me just wrap this up by saying that if the value of something is determined by the price that someone's willing to pay for it, let me just tell you that heaven went bankrupt to get you back. John 3:16, that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And so let that determine your value. If God says you're priceless and that you were worth, sending his only son, let that determine your value, because you are valuable. You do matter. There are things that you can do to make a difference. And so, the Law of the Mirror, I would have to say right now has been my favorite chapter, because Michelle and I love to just talk to people about their identity. What someone says about you does not have to be your identity unless you take it on. And again, I think that's a false lens. So I hope that sinks in. I hope that makes sense to you guys, that you guys truly are one of a kind. You're priceless. Yeah. And, you should invest in yourself, because you're the best investment, that you could invest into.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I just want to dive in and kind of dovetail off your false lens. You know what I mean? Because I think, think to back when you were a kid. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a ballerina, like, more than anything. And then I started to hear, like, I
wanted to be a pro fisherman.
A pro, yeah. You got that helicopter.
I used to watch Sunday morning. Was it Saturday or Sunday morning? Like Bill Dance and all those guys. Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I wanted to be a ballerina, and people started to tell me that I was too short and I was too thick, and you know what I mean? And so it's funny how as we move exactly, right?
Everybody likes a thick ballerina.
I'm not skinny, and I'm fine with that now. I love myself now.
She's beautiful.
Anyway,
you guys comment below. She's beautiful.
You don't have to do that. But here's the thing, is like growing up, like there's been things that people have said to us and we've taken on a foggy lens of ourselves. You know what I mean? And like just kind of moving into one of the things that I wanted to talk about was self-talk. And I think he talks about like 9...
There's 10, actually.
Or 10 ways to
build your
self-image, right? And one of the things that I thought was really interesting was the self-talk. And I need the statistic here.
Okay, go for it.
But let me get that statistic for you. It says by the time you're 17 years old, you've heard "no, you can't" 150,000 times. And you've heard "yes, you can" 5,000 times. So for every 30 no's, you've heard one yes. And like I've really had to reflect on this being a parent now, and it's so easy to, when we're parenting Hannah, we say like, "No, Hannah, you can't climb that," You know what I mean? And yeah, it's for her own good, but now we're really being conscious and saying, that could be dangerous. Why don't you do this instead? So she's not constantly hearing, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, if that's how you grew up, where it was like the kind of parenting where it was like, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. Oh, you should probably choose something a little bit more realistic for your career. You know what I mean? I think we've all maybe heard that. It's just like, now I have the opportunity to chop that generational iniquity right there, and I could send Hannah into a future where she hears, yes, you can, more than no, you can't. And it's just really rephrasing it, because I don't really think all parents are bad. You know, there's been some times where there's been harsh and rough upbringings, and there was an example in this chapter. But then, like, kind of looking at ourselves, how do we talk to ourselves? What's our self-talk? How many times do you say, or do I say, wow, I really want that purse, but I can't afford it? You know, instead of saying that, saying, what do I need to do to afford that? Or what do I need to do to be able to do that? Instead of saying, I can't get up in front of that crowd, you know, if it's a fear of yours, what could you do to prepare to get up in front of the crowd and speak?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's really guarding our self-talk. I think we end up being our own worst critics. And with that foggy lens that you've taken on, and just being critical of yourself, I really think that hinders your ability to look at yourself clearly. Look at yourself the way that your Creator has been looking at you, and maybe even other people that are cheering for you see you.
You know, along that topic of other people cheering for you, Michelle and I, we have an amazing group of friends, an amazing community. We're very intentional of who we let into our lives, and it's just like an all-star lineup of people. And what I'm getting at is it's amazing how some people can see your value more than you can see it in yourself. So just to get real for a minute, when we got accepted to be one of the contributors, speakers for this Maxwell simulcast event, Michelle and I were flipping out excited, because Maxwell is a hero of ours. We read his leadership Bible every day. Like, he's had so much influence on the decisions that we've made, even though we've only met him. I've only met him twice. Michelle's only met him once. He's just someone that we really admire. And so when I was sharing this with some of my friends, they were going, yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, they just were like, yeah, they were excited for us, but they weren't like surprised that we were invited into that. And I'm going, yeah, but you don't even understand. And it was just like, it was so refreshing to have people in our corner that were championing us, and they were encouraging us, but they were also like, they're like, yeah, we're not surprised. Like, you do things with excellence, and that totally fits in line with your wheelhouse and what you guys are about and teaching. And it was just like, wow, that is so refreshing to have people that see more of a value in yourself than you do in yourself. Because I think what we do, we add great value, we have great content, but also, like, you know, I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, to the level of John Maxwell, like, that's on another level. And we were just like, oh, like, we're just in this, like, you know, euphoric phase of just feeling amazing, and we're excited, and we're so grateful for it. But to have friends that were like, yeah, I don't, you know, why are you surprised? Like, that's what you do. Yeah. That's what you're all about. And so I thought that was worth mentioning.
Yeah, and you know, I love that you said that, because sometimes in the beginning you're going to have to borrow someone else's belief before you start believing in yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's really going to be dependent on who you're surrounding yourself with. And sometimes, you know, sometimes relationships have to be lessened for you to really start to see yourself for who you are, because maybe, like, I know a lot of times I surrounded myself with people that were more critical than cheerleaders. And what a difference it made. Like, you don't, like, alienate yourself, but you just lessen your time with that person.
And you don't want people that are just like yes people that tell you what you want to hear, because, like, you got to have the ones that'll give you the straight talk as well. So did you have anything regarding self-talk? I wanted to just recap a couple others.
Let's see. No, I just think that's about it. Is, you know, just watch what you say to yourself, and flip the no, I can't do that, or no, I can't afford that, into how. Yeah. How do I do it? What kind of person do I need to become to be able to do that? And I saw, like, the scroll is, like, way up, but there's several people that have had a successful media fast. Yeah. I saw Gina, Vanette, y'all rock.
Yeah.
You know, that's awesome that you got more done during the week, read more, and so congratulations to you. Sorry if you did write something up there, I don't see it anymore, but shout out to you.
Yeah. So one of the things Maxwell says on that, so there's 10 things that he talks about that you can do to build your self-image. Michelle talked about guard your self-talk. One of the questions you can ask yourself is, do you encourage or criticize yourself more? Like, that'd be a great question to ask yourself throughout the day. But he says, if we want to change our lives, we have to change the way we think of ourselves. If we want to change the way we think of ourselves, we need to change the way we talk to ourselves. So that was so good. So number 2 was stop comparing yourself to others. There's 8 more. We don't have time probably to go into all of them effectively, but I wanted to talk about the comparison because, back in 2009, Michelle and I were working towards a promotion in our company that was, I think, less than 1% of the people attain that promotion. And we ate, lived, breathed, sleep like our business. We didn't have any other priorities other than getting promoted. And for about 6 or 7 months, we had zero life. And Maxwell talks about the law of sacrifice. You got to give up to go up. Those things. You do have to pay a price. But I remember that when we promoted to that rank, we got a lot more attention because of the few people that were at that level, right? And so we started getting invited on calls. We started getting invited to speak more, train, and do all of this. And what happened for us, it was amazing because we had a lot of growth, but we also got invited into some elite circles that really took an emotional toll because just because we were in that circle, we thought we were already supposed to be to that level, maybe income-wise or the size of our team or the number of customers that we had. And man, I really dealt with some major comparison because it was just beating me up because I was grateful for the attention and that we were having influence, right? Because that's what leadership is, it's influence. But everybody we were surrounding ourselves with was ahead of us, which that's the way you grow. But that comparison started to creep in, and it wasn't healthy because I wasn't grateful for what we had. I posted a quote today on our page that says, can your character uphold the breakthrough that you're praying for? So I want to say that again. Can your character uphold the breakthrough that you're praying for? And part of the character is just appreciating the journey, like appreciating the growth opportunities, which could be disguised as difficulties. And so we really had to, I'd say we didn't withdraw from those circles, but we had to learn from them and say, you know what, we're on our own journey. Some of these guys or girls have been in the industry decades longer. It doesn't matter how long it takes us to achieve this income level or this number of customers. We're on our own journey and they're on their own journey. And let's face it, just because they present they present one thing doesn't mean that's what's really going on the inside, right? Because we all try to display ourselves to be more, happy and excited and successful sometimes than we really are. So I just thought the comparison one out of the 10, that's probably the one that I've struggled with the most. But as I've gotten more in tune with my identity of just with my relationship with the Lord, of how He created me unique, that, once you discover, once you get real with yourself, you don't want to be anybody else because you're thankful for who God made you to be and the gifts that He's given you. So we're just trying to be real transparent over here. And did you have any comments regarding comparison?
Yeah. I think the thing with comparison is it either produces pride, like you're comparing yourself, oh, I'm so much better than them, or it produces a feeling of inadequacy, like, wow, they're better than me. And when it comes to comparison and it really can be a mirror, a reflection on how you see yourself, because if you see someone that is more successful, then and you're inspired by it, then that's an indication that you have self-belief in yourself, because it's like, wow, I could do that. I could get there.
That's good.
Where I found myself at times, and I've had to work through the comparison deal too, is seeing that and being somewhat jealous. And inside, it's like, oh, you just have that lucky them.
Yeah. Good for you.
So I'm just being real. I've had to really check myself in that. And I heard on a podcast by guess who, Chris Valentin, and he had mentioned
Chris Valentin's biggest stalker. Biggest fan.
Yeah, I am. But he mentioned something really cool about the journey, right? Because you had mentioned something else about a journey. Two things I want to say about that is, one, wait, I just lost my train of thought on the journey. Okay, God's not so much concerned about your destination and you getting to your destination than your journey. Like, he's more concerned in the journey because that's where he gets close to you. That's where your character is being built. That's where he's molding you to be the person that you're going to be. So it's like embracing the journey instead of trying to get to the destination. You know, instead of, one thing that I wish when we're promoting is embracing that time of before the promotion. You know, and so I think a lot of times we get so fixated on the promotion or the income level, but we forget, and I think starting to journal during the journey and then going back and reading your journal is so awesome, just to see how things turn out for your good. You know what I mean? Like that it's always going to turn out. And so anyway, that, and then one other thing on comparison or your journey, I forget, but
okay. Well, I just had something I wanted to mention, and we'll wrap up here. Is I think this goes along the lines with the mirror and comparison. Is if you have the ability to get excited for other people when they have breakthrough and when they have victories and successes, because that really says a lot about your character. You know, sometimes when someone has a victory and we don't say anything, that's probably speaking louder than anything else, because it's like it takes a lot of character to kind of put your agenda aside for a minute and celebrate somebody else's victory. You know, like, you know, when like you're really excited about something and you have a friend that gets really excited for you, that's just an amazing feeling. I love when I'm excited about something and Michelle gets excited, but if I'm excited about something and she's not excited with me, I'm like, come on, you got to get on the same page. And like, I know it could be fishing. It could be
scrambled eggs.
It could be dirt bikes. It could be something I'm really excited about. But I just wanted you guys to like maybe reflect on that this week. And when you have a friend that is celebrating something, just, you might have worry, you might have all this, you might be thinking about the kids and everything you got to do, but just in that moment, like, just get excited for them, because that is going to give them encouragement as well. And it takes a secure leader to be able to do that, because you might be, I was trying to think of an example, you know, recently, but you might be praying for breakthrough in finances, and then you see someone have just some radical testimony, and if your immediate thought is, man, I wish that happened to me, like, you're missing the point. Like, celebrate with them. And
because like, it will happen to you.
Yeah, it just, the heart matters. So I just wanted to share that, and Michelle might have thought of the last thing, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, so just on the thought of investing in yourself, one thought that I had was, if you have not reached the level that you want to reach, where it's your income or career, or, you know, just being fulfilled in your life, one thing that I want to encourage all of us to take a look at is look at your cable bill, your entertainment expenses, and compare that to your monthly personal development expense and budget.
That's
right. So if
cutting deep,
like, let's be real. Do you guys want fluffy or do you want real?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
real.
So take a look at that. You know, like, how much are you spending on personal development? If you're not spending more on personal development than your cable bill and your entertainment bill, that's the disconnect, guys.
Wow.
You know, and I don't want to make it seem like we're patting ourselves on the back, but it's true, because for several years, Adam and I have spent way more in personal development than our entertainment, and we're seeing the fruit of it. Like, and I want to just share that with you as encouragement. Sometimes your personal development doesn't pay dividends till later. Yeah. And just know that you got to stay in the game. You got to stay like with it. And I hope that's just a wake up call for some of us. You know, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't have a personal development budget, and it should be 10% of your income. And the more you spend on personal development, the more you're going to get back. It's better than the stock market.
Yeah, I love that. So anyway, Law of the Mirror, we could go all day. That's been a good one. Have you guys really enjoyed that chapter? Tomorrow we're going to do the law of reflection. Learning to pause allows growth to catch up with you. I'm going to tell you right now, that's probably so far that's the biggest one that I struggle with, is pausing, because we're always just on to the next thing. And you know, that can also affect enjoying the journey, you know, it's just because we're on to the next thing, So again, if you're not yet in the Facebook group, you still have time to just join us for accountability, post quotes, pictures, post videos, like post a video of you just on a revelation.
You know what I loved is seeing everybody's family.
Yeah, we posted some family pictures,
cool.
which there's maybe like 20 of those and 100 people saw it. But hey, you know, like everybody's playing at a different level. Some are going to look, some are going to participate.
Don't be the sneaky.
Yeah.
The sneaky participator.
Yeah, well, don't be that guy. So anyway, we thank you guys for coming along. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Tag some team members that would get value from this. And other than that, you guys have an amazing day.
See you in
God
the group.
bless you guys. Thanks for the comments. Thank you, Lori, Scotty, Yolanda.
Oh yeah, Darren Hardy.
Mikey said, ouch. Great point. I got some
The
development
Compound
to do.
Effect is awesome, Scotty. That's another great book.
Yeah, so many good books.
Thank you, Lori, for tuning in.
Let me just recommend this one because it's on the tip of my tongue. It's written by Kevin Myers and Maxwell. It's called Home Run. And that probably is going to relate a lot to the Law of the Ladder. But if you guys have not read Home Run, that book is probably one of my top 10 favorites.
Mine too.
Really, really good. So anyway, we're going to let you guys go. We'll talk to you later.